welcome back to the basement. Welcome back to Chris's Strange and Things. Today we're checking out a new product. It is in from the Volume 1 2023 catalog. We are here at the very end of September of 2023. It's already been delivered. It is these beautiful E-units from Lionel, and these are in the jade green New York Central paint scheme, and boy, do they look awesome. Now, the jade green was obviously not a very popular New York Central engine color. They ended up being more for freight than engines. In fact, this was extremely experimental that these E-units were painted in this jade green color, and I believe this is the first time that Lionel has put these out. MTH released these a few years ago, and although they're a little bit darker, I do believe that these are more accurate to the actual paint that the New York Central used for these locomotives, and boy, do they stand out. They're going to look really great going around the layout. Let's get a little bit closer and we'll look at these E-units, talk a little bit about the history of them, and then about the models themselves, and then we're going to send them around the layout and enjoy these things as they're a new item here in my collection, and I'm so happy to share them with all of you. Let's check it out. Hey, before we dive too much further in, if you're looking for any items like this, you could check out Train World. I purchased these from Train World. They've got some more in stock. I don't think these are going to last all that long. If we go back to the volume release from January, the volume 1 release, I mentioned a lot that if Lionel got these colors right, these were going to be the ones that were going to be hard to come by. I think a lot of people passed these up because they might have been afraid that Lionel would mess the color up. There's also the Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western options, and I'm sure a lot of people went with those, or maybe the Amtrak scheme as well. So I don't know how many of these were purchased or how many were made, but my guess is most people passed these up to go with one of those other options. And I think these are the real winners from this catalog. So you can check out Train World to snag these, or, you know, eventually they'll be available on the secondhand market. They might be more expensive. And if you're looking on the secondhand market, look at trains.com. That's trains with a Z. Use code CTAT at checkout. It's going to save you some money if you spend over $50, and help support the channel here. So we appreciate that.
All right. So EMD introduced the E-unit in 1935, and the demand grew pretty quickly. These were obviously extremely popular on all railroads. Later, the E7A and E8A models were the most popular in terms of total production. About 428 and 450 of those units were built. New York Central owned 96 of these units, and they carried the road numbers 4,000 through 4,035 or 4035, and those were E7A units. And then for the E8A units, it was 4036 through 4095. The first of the New York Central Streamlined cabs arrived in 1947, and they ended up with the lightning stripe scheme, so dark gray with the lightning stripe on the side. As passenger service began to drop and revenue went down with it, they decided to go with a more conservative scheme, which is the cigar band scheme, and then eventually started experimenting with a few others. They had a solid black with a gold cigar band. They went with the jade green, like you see here, with the white cigar band wrapped along. The final choice that they stuck with was a solid gray scheme with the white cigar band that stretched around the entire car body. In 1968, when the Pennsylvania merged with New York Central, they changed that up and went with black. So appearing in the Volume 1 2023 edition, the E-units that you see here were cataloged with Southern Pacific, Amtrak, Aberdeen, Carolina, and Western, and Southern. The AA sets are 34 inches in length and require 054 curves. Both units are powered, which is a nice change of pace from the late 2010s. I believe it was 2018 when the Pennsy versions came out, and there was only one powered unit. So the fact that both of these are powered is a really nice feature. Now, only one has speakers. Only the main unit has speakers, which in this set is 4053. 4083 does not have any speakers in it, but it does have motors, and it does have smoke unit as well. These do feature some road-specific detailing. Some of the other models will have icebreakers on them. These ones do not. You'll have some different horn placement as well, and Mars lights on appropriate locomotives. As I mentioned, MTH released the jade green units many years ago, and they're a little bit darker. I believe these ones are nicer than those. I'm really pleased to have these. These do feature electro couplers on the front of each locomotive, and dummy couplers at the end of each locomotive, since they're typically facing one another. So let's go ahead, fire these things up, and we're going to send these around the layout. Really happy to have these in my collection. These are legacy controlled. You can run them with legacy, TMCC. You can also run them conventionally. You can run them with the Lion Chief app and uses Lion Chief voice control. So you can use voice control in that app to operate these locomotives. Now, 4083 is actually restored, and it is restored at the Rail Historical Society, I believe, or United Railroad Historical Society in New Jersey. So this unit still exists, and I think that's pretty neat that they finally added this to the Lionel collection. So lots of details on the roof of these things. Here you can actually see the roof hatch pops open, and that's where your controls are going to be as well. So really nicely done. The paint's really crisp on these. They run really smoothly. They smoke well. I primed each smoke unit with some drops of Mega Steam, and that's really all it took for these things to just push out some plumes of smoke as they went around the layout. All right. And for today's video, these are going to be running around with the Southwestern Limited set. These were released a few years ago, I believe with the last E-Unit release when they came out with that solid gray car body, and I believe it had a full white cigar stripe along the side. So we're going to run the Jade Grains with those 21-inch passenger cars today. Let's fire it up.
This is the dispatcher. Get us set up running. Your train will be ready at 17:30. Over. Roger that. Let's get to work. Out.
All right, that wraps this one up, guys. What are your thoughts on these E-units? Did you purchase any E-units from this catalog? And if so, which ones did you buy? Now, I've started to realize that I'm really collecting a lot of these E-units. I used to have a pair of Pennsylvania E-units many years ago. Ended up selling those to my friend Dan at Toy Trains and Collectibles to buy some other products. But now I've got these. I've got the Union Pacific ones in the back that were the Mr. Muffin's custom run. I have the Conrail Executive Train E-unit as well, looking to get the 2 E-units that go with that. So they seem to be multiplying on my layout, and who knows what will be the next set of E-units that end up in my collection.